Welcome. It's time for our 7 at 7 tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching tonight. Hope these are encouraging you and giving you just some oomph for your day. And why are we doing this? Basically, just to give you a sense of hope, encouragement, just to keep you moving through this crazy, crazy time that we are in. And as I said last time, if you heard of a note taker, well, I'm a note teacher. So I have my notes here in front of me. If you see me looking kind of down or away, that's what I'm doing, is I'm reading my notes. But I was thinking about today, through this whole coronavirus thing, it's just been really crazy. Wanted to talk about your story tonight. What is your story? We are in such a crazy time. I mean, it almost seems like a movie, right? We're all playing our roles, our daily lives in a cast of millions of billions of people in the world. And it almost seems like one of those drama novels that you would read, a big, huge, giant story that has gone on for over a month now, and it will continue till at least the end of April. I mean, that's what we know. Our stories, we all have a story to tell. Every one of you watching right now, you have an individual, unique story that you can tell. Each of our lives could be a series of books that, that we could tell of how we got where we are today. Stories will never get old. Stories are written every single day. Even now, as you're watching me on Facebook Live right now, or YouTube, or wherever you end up watching this, there are stories that are happening all over the world. And you're saying, okay, Kevin, what are you getting at? Well, sometimes we may find it hard to either witness or share our faith with people, and we can make it a whole lot more complicated than it really needs to be. If we can relate to people, and people can relate to us, they are way more inclined to listen to what we have to say, right? People love stories. We watch stories every day on TV. People write stories for the sitcoms or the dramas that we watch on TV. There's stories that people write for movies, the books that we read. Stories are all around us, but the greatest story that we can tell to share Jesus is the story of you. Jeremiah 1:5 in the Amplified says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you and approved of you as my chosen instrument. And before you were born, I separated and set you apart, consecrating you, and I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Your story could be very well a strong, awesome tool that you could use to win somebody to Jesus. I mean, think about it. Take my story, for instance. If you've maybe not familiar with my story, or you've never heard my story, in December of 2015, I was admitted to the hospital on December 25th. I mean, what a great way to spend Christmas, right? With a very rare illness called Guillain-Barré syndrome. That was a very dark chapter in my life. I got it on December 25th. Went in there. As the days went on, I got worse. They had to be, they sent me to the ICU. I mean, I was very sick, had to be intubated. There was a couple times that my body began to shut down. I mean, I almost didn't make it, but God. I mean, I'm so thankful that I have this victory that I can share, that Jesus, there is hope. Jesus is hope. God gives hope. I literally had people all over the world praying for me. I had doctors giving my wife bad reports and negative outcomes, and, saying, he's not going to come out of this like he should. And you see this hand right here? I was told that this hand, I would never have use of this hand again. I couldn't play the piano or, use it for the things, that I need to, because of the nerve damage that was done. They said it would take years, to do what I'm doing now, but God. And you might say, well, you still walk with a cane. I said, well, yeah, so what? It's only temporary. My current situation does not dictate my final outcome. God has not brought me this far to leave me. I mean, God's not saying, okay, that's enough. You're well. I got to move on. No, God doesn't do that. I have a story of victory and a story of hope. I beat an illness that does permanent damage. Sometimes it takes people's lives. I am a walking miracle and an overcomer. I know some people that have had Guillain-Barré say they're survivors. Well, I don't consider myself a survivor of GBS. I am an overcomer. You watching here tonight, you may have a story that could help someone. You might have a chapter in your life that you could, flip through the pages and say, yeah, I can use that to witness to somebody, or I can use that, to help win somebody to Jesus. Tell of your victories, how God brought you out of something. He may have delivered you from drugs or cancer or drinking, or, the list could go on and on and on. What you have inside of you is hope. Because you have Jesus living on the inside of you, you have hope. People want to know, after all this virus mess, they're going to want hope, right? They're going to want to know that there is hope. Well, there is. Jesus is our hope. I know this is deep, right? I mean, I'm not a teacher or a preacher or, I just kind of keep things basic. But after this whole virus thing, people are going to want to know love. They're going to want to know acceptance. They're going to want to know freedom, joy. After all of this mess in the world, we have hope inside of us that we can share with people to tell them that, yes, Jesus heals, Jesus delivers, Jesus can set you free, Jesus can take care of, he died on the cross for your sins. He took care of everything that you would ever go through. The cross was enough. Your story tonight could be just the tool or just the right thing to lead somebody to Jesus. Simply sharing the goodness of God will bring people to Jesus, like it says in Romans 2:4. When they see how good he is and how he can change their life, your conversation with your friend or a relative or whoever it is sharing your story, it will lead them to a prayer of salvation. Now, I'm sure everyone watching tonight, you have a chapter in your life that you can, flip through and find, oh yeah, God delivered me of that, or God set me free of that, or yeah, that's a victory that I had in my life that I can share with somebody to be able to win them to Jesus. Amen? So after this whole virus mess, we're going to have, the church is going to be so victorious and have such an opportunity to be able to share the goodness of God, and that, the ones that are hurting and the ones that are going through all of this, we have hope. We have the answer. Amen? So I just encourage you tonight that as you go, take a story. Remember something that God has done in your life. Take that story and share it with somebody that really needs to hear it, even after all this time. Begin to pray for all those ones who are hurting and who are going through this mess, that we're living in right now. And so share your story. What is your story? Ask yourself tonight, how can I share a story that's going to make an impact in somebody's life? Hope you enjoyed this. I know it was quick and just kind of basic, but there's hope. Jesus is hope tonight. So God bless you guys. See you next time.